Hello and welcome. If you've been thinking about getting either the new Harley Benton ST Modern Plus or a Harley Benton Fusion, let's have a wee look and compare the two. First, a wee disclaimer. Yes, this is a Harley Benton Fusion 2, so it's the older generation and it's also HSH, so it's not an ideal comparison, but I'm going to talk about this one as if it's the Fusion 3, using the Fusion 3 specs, and there's actually not that much difference between the Gen 2 and Gen 3s anyway. So, let's get to it. Right, we'll start at the top. Headstocks. They're both the same shape because they're Harley Benton S-types. No complaints. Moving on. Tuners. They both have lock-in tuners, so that's good news. The ST Modern Plus has vintage style buttons, and I found that the machine heads on this are a little bit stiff to turn. That might change over time or maybe add some lubrication, but just something to note. In comparison, the Fusion tuners, this will be the same on the Fusion 2 and the Fusion 3, we have staggered lock-in tuners, so that eliminates the need for the second string tree. So in my opinion, these lock-in tuners are better. And speaking of string trees, the Harley Benton just has a single roller string tree, whereas the ST Modern Plus has a pair of butterfly string trees. I've potentially changed my stance on these string trees. Potentially. I used to say that they were completely useless, but now I'm just saying they're not fantastic. And that's because Elmo recently, sorry if I said your name wrong, reviewed his ST Modern and he did this. So he obviously didn't have a problem with the string trees there. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. But what I can say is, this ST Modern that I have here has a hard job staying in tune. It's a bit of a struggle, so there's a bit of balance for you. I'm going to put some tone comparison clips in, but I think there's a little bit of an issue with the wiring on the Fusion, but that's because I've modded it a few times. So it's back to stock now, but we'll see. It might be a bit iffy. Nutz. The ST Modern has the nut listed as graphite. Good. And the Fusion 3 has the nut listed as Graphtec Tusk. Also good. Unless it's actually a Graphtec Tusk XL self-lubricating nut, then both of these pretty much seem equal to me. And by the way, Fazley guitars do Graphtec Tusk XL nuts on their guitars for under £200. So it's possible. Right, let's talk about the necks. There's a lot to cover in here. So, they're both roasted maple. Let's start with the Harley Benton. Harley Benton, roasted maple neck, roasted maple fretboard, great. Stainless steel frets, 12-inch radius and a C-shaped neck. Fine. The standout thing with the Harley Benton is the white dots against the dark roasted maple neck, which is good for visibility. Good contrast there, I can see what I'm doing. No complaints there. Now, when it comes to the ST Modern Plus, we also have roasted maple, but it's flame roasted maple. And this particular example that I've got here is absolutely stunning. It's a really good looking neck. But unfortunately with this one, the visibility of the dots is not that great. The front dots are okay, black, I can see the contrast, but when it comes to the side dots, they've used these luminous, I don't think it's lumen lace, but luminous glow in the dark side dots, which are great when they work, but you have to charge them, it's a whole thing. And with the prominent flame on this, it's actually quite hard to see the dots, so not ideal. I actually prefer the visibility on the Harley Benton. Also on this, we've got 22 stainless steel frets, and we've got the rounded ball end frets. which are really comfortable, like what you would see on an E-Art. One of the big complaints that the Harley Benton Fusions got before is that a lot of them had sharp fret ends. Mine's never suffered from that, but this definitely fixes that. Something else is the rolled fretboard edges that we were promised in the specs on the ST Modern Plus. It turns out that there's a bit of ambiguity over whether they are rolled or not, and on mine's it is slightly rolled, both sides. I know some others are not, but these ones are. I go into a bit more detail on this on the review of this guitar that you can check out up there if you like. Alright? Also, the ST Modern Plus has a 12 to 16 inch compound radius and a D-shaped profile neck. So, personally, my preference is C-shapes and 9.5. So the closest to that out of the two of these is the Harley Benton Fusion. That would probably be my preference over the two, but it's pretty close. Don't actually love either of them. The neck heel joints, both of them are pretty good. They're better than the standard blocks like you would see on Fenders. But personally, I think I prefer the heel on the Fusion because it's the 4 bolts without the neck plate. I think the neck plate one isn't as comfortable, just my opinion, but it's pretty close. They're not the best ones I've ever seen. You can get better neck heel joints on other guitars, like on this Charvel DK22 or this Jet JS400. If you've liked the video so far, please do hit the old thumbs up button. That helps the channel or something like that, or the video. It helps something. If you're not busy, then go on, hit the like button. Thank you. Bodywood. The ST Modern Plus has an American alder body, whereas the Harley Benton Fusion has a Niato body. That's the Harley Benton Fusion 3. This particular one has a Sapelli body. Sapel? Forget about that. We're focusing on the Harley Benton Fusion 3, so Niato versus American alder. You can fight about tonewood in the comments if you like. Carry on. Pickups. The Harley Benton Fusion has a set of Roswells. I've never played a set of Roswell pickups that I liked so far, and I've tried a load of Harley Bentons. I've tried the SC25th, I've tried an Aeolus, I've tried a CST24, this one. Never really enjoyed any of the Roswell pickups. And I heard that Harley Benton's other pickup brand of choice, the Teslas, are supposed to be a lot better. And the Harley Benton ST Modern Plus has a set of Teslas in there. And I have to admit, I'm not really that impressed with these either, so there you go. It's all subjective. You might like either of them, who knows. Okay, while we're on the subject, let's talk about switching and tonal versatility. So if we just imagine for a second that this is a Fusion 3 and that it's HSS, we wouldn't have the switch here for a start, that's just on the Fusion 2. To split the coil on the humbucker, you have the tone pot, which is a push-pull pot. And on the Harley Benton Fusion, it's a knurled chrome knob, so it's quite tactile and you can get a good grip of it. Whereas with the ST Modern Plus, it's the same deal. It also does the coil splitting on the humbucker, but also on the tone knob, but it's a strat knob. And they're just so fiddly for a push-pull. You really need to get your nail under it, or it's hard to get a grip of it. Not ideal in a gigging situation. What would have been better on the ST Modern Plus is a push-push knob, or a switch in the middle, like what they had on the Fusion 2. Just some suggestions for future. Alright? The Trems, or vibratos to be more accurate. On the Harley Benton, we have the Wilkinson unit. It's the Wilkinson WVS 52K, if I remember correctly. And this is a fantastic trem, super stable. I think I've had this guitar for over a couple of years now, and I've never had any issues with it. I like the responsiveness of it, I like the size of the trem arm, and I don't have any problems on this guitar at this end where you would have tuning stability issues. So we've got a well cut nut, we've got staggered tuning posts, yep, staggered locking tuners, and just the need for one string tree. So all this together works fantastic, especially this trem, very good. And then with the ST Modern Plus, they're now using this new Babbage unit, which is apparently quite an expensive trem on its own. I think they're over £100, Z series or something like that. A good trem, also feels quite nice, nice responsiveness. Some people have complained about the saddles, they're quite chunky, high mass or something like that, and you do have to adapt to your playing ever so slightly. You have to move your hand over just a little bit. It's no big deal, it didn't really bother me too much, but unfortunately, doesn't matter how great this is, if the nut isn't cut well and the string trees don't function too well, or they're not ideal string trees, I suppose the jury's out on that, this guitar just basically doesn't stay in tune. So this bridge, not ideal, but to be honest with you, I think the Wilkinson bridge would be a better choice on this guitar, because it just eliminates that issue of people who don't enjoy this saddle. And there's nothing wrong with that trem, it's fantastic. Probably even be cheaper, who knows. What do you think about the trems? Any experience with either of these on these guitars or other guitars? Let me know in the comments. By the way, have you subscribed to the channel yet? Well, let me just pass you over to Rick to sort this out.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. Many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. Thank you.
So please do consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you. And thanks Rick for having my back. Okay, so I've already reviewed both of these guitars previously on the channel. The review of the Fusion, I'll put it up there just now. That was early on in the channel, so the production isn't that great and you'll see how uncomfortable I am on camera. Not like now, I'm still uncomfortable. And then more recently, I reviewed the ST Modern Plus, and that one will be up there now, hopefully, or links in the description, one of the two. But you can check out the reviews individually of each of these where I go into more detail. And yeah. So, have you tried either of these guitars? I mean, this is pretty much, in my opinion, the cream of the crop when it comes to the Harley Benton stuff. Especially this new ST Modern Plus, in terms of the specs and the quality, even although the execution isn't perfect. It's pretty impressive what you're getting for the price. Same with the Fusion guitars, they're fantastic. And if we look at the journey of the Fusions, the Fusion 1st gen, they had some teething problems and issues. And 3rd gen, I'm hearing pretty much good reports across the board, mainly. And then the ST Modern, this is having the same kind of thing. When I did the review video of this one, I got a lot of comments of people who got them and had problems with them. Mainly fret leveling problems, high and low frets. And this one also has a couple of high frets, I think. But yeah, I think by Gen 2-3, how are you going to beat this? I don't know. Personally for me, I'm moving both of these on because I'm not enjoying flat radius fretboards that Harley Benton are doing. I've got a campaign to get Harley Benton to release guitars with 9.5 inch fretboard radius. Hope that'll happen soon. But until then, I don't think I'm going to be getting many more Harley Bentons. Not SRT types anyway. Sorry. So how about you? Have you got experience with either of these guitars? A Fusion of any generation, some different layout, maybe even a Fusion T? Or how about the ST Modern Plus? Have you tried one of them? Do you want to try either of these? What's your experience like with Harley Benton guitars in general? Let me know all about it in the comments. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. Here's what goes on. On Wednesdays, I post a community poll. You can vote on something. It'll be a topic, guitar related. And then on a Thursday, we do a live stream every Thursday, 7:30 PM UK time, and we discuss the results of the poll from the previous day. And then on the Friday, 6 PM, is the normal video uploads, and usually it's related to the previous 2 days' discussion things. Usually. So, it'd be great to see you there. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, and you can get involved in all that. Alright? So for now, thanks for watching. Until next time. See you later.